What's up, manga fans, and welcome back to another review of Hajime no Ippo, this week's chapter 1099, Bison's Thoughts. Now, this match is starting to become more interesting because it's given us more insight into Richard Bison's character as a whole. We're starting to see a bit of his backstory, what his thoughts and feelings are, and his intentions in this fight. And it's actually quite resentful, and I'd say there's some sort of malice behind his intentions in this fight towards Takamura. And we actually find out this is because it's linked to one of Takamura's previous opponents, and that is the one and only Golden Eagle himself, David Eagle. Now, it's actually quite simple because it's a similar kind of backstory to, I'd say, Alfredo and Brian Hook, which Richard Bison kind of came from, like a rough sort of background where he grew up in a, kind of hostile environment, and he learned how to box to protect himself. But obviously, learning that, he found out that he was good enough to beat down quite a few people, and he obviously proclaimed that he could beat anyone. So he basically stated that he's going to climb the tallest skyscraper, metaphorically, and become so great that he's going to surpass it, go even further. And this is obviously a dream that, seemed likely, but his dream is cut short when he meets David Eagle himself and is beaten by him in a sparring match. And later on, he loses to him again, a second time in the Olympic qualifiers. And this forces, obviously, Bison to basically have to sit there and watch David Eagle rise to fame and eventually be dubbed as the Golden Eagle that we know him as. So this is something Bison, says is suited for him because he's soaring in the sky much higher than, the buildings that Bison has originally stated before to reach and surpass. So you might as well say he's become somewhat of a fanboy, and he is a massive admirer of David Eagle, and he's watching, David Eagle become a pro boxer, rise to fame, become super successful, while he's still at the bottom of the skyscraper looking up, struggling to make anything of himself. But he's I have to say, he is a strong character because he's like, I'm not letting the world gonna push me down. I'm not gonna let anyone stop me. And he carefully and slowly starts to climb up that skyscraper, and he was close to reaching a match with David Eagle. So when he was actually, close to fighting him, he says, "This son of a bitch shows up." So we find out that Takamura ruined his chance to fight with David Eagle, something obviously he's been desiring for time. So this match is basically him taking back the treasure that Takamura took. And this pretty much explains what Bison was saying last time at the end of the last match, when he was like, "Damn thief." And I thought it was something simple like, "Damn thief, what was you doing in that match? That's my kind of moves or techniques." But no, it's something much deeper than that. Takamura literally stole David Eagle away from him. So he's kind of got this yonder reflex right now. It's like, you took him away from me. It's like, I'm going to kill you kind of thing. And it makes me laugh because this is kind of weird. Obviously you can see it as like, oh, you took my boyfriend away from me, I'm gonna kill you kind of thing. But obviously I'm only joking about that. But that's the way I see it. It's probably the best way to explain it. And obviously Bison basically wants back, the opportunity that he lost because of Takamura defeating Eagle. So yeah, we can understand now why he's so hostile and aggressive in this fight. He wants to actually knock out Takamura. Now, on the other hand, Takamura, after, the end of round one, is evaluating basically the previous round with Kamagaya, and they're pretty much at a loss for what to do. Both of them are just constantly cursing each other, and they actually do get some interesting info for us to see. Bison flickers have a long range, and he's great at swaying. So even if Takamura was able to move in past his left, Bison can just easily slip away. And furthermore, if Takamura tried to move in even further, he would most likely get countered with a right straight. So right now he's kind of, at a point where he can't do much and he needs to figure out a strategy. But the problem is, they didn't figure out anything during, Takamura, the minute break. So Takamura standing there is like, what can I do? What should I do? And it's like, this carry on arguing. It's like, you haven't told me anything to do. And it's like, you don't know anything either. And it's like, well, I was relying on you to tell me something. So Kamugai eventually says, why don't you ask him? But, and I think that was referring to Bison. Maybe Takamura was supposed to kind of get something from Bison in the match. Obviously, evaluate him and then find out a way to beat him. But obviously, Takamura is arrogant, so he's like, I'm a genius, I don't need to do that. And Kamagai's like, that's exactly why I told you, because I thought you would say that. So round 2 is starting, and Takamura is ready to charge towards the waiting Bison. So as I said, that was a short chapter, but it was very informative, particularly for obviously Bison and his backstory. So now we know what his intentions are and why he wants to fight Takamura so bad. He basically wants to, find some sort of, I'd say, closure or reprieve from the fact that he lost the chance to fight David Eagle, and now he can't fight him. He wants to take the belt back to America instead. And as I said, on the other side, Takamura is pretty much not having a clue what to do with the fight right now. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what he can do. But as I said, short, concise chapter, very informative, very good, and I can't wait to see the next one. So you guys know the usual. If you've got any comments, opinions, leave them in the comment box below, and I'll speak to you in the next chapter. Take care.